Anyway, he turned around and he got a message back to me to say, don't worry about me. Can you get me something for my mum?
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you think, oh my goodness, you sort of,
yeah,
and we say,
emotional.
it's really emotional. And I cry.
To be 15, 16, to think of your mum like that.
Yeah, and I probably cry once a week at least.
Yeah.
Because some of the stories I hear, I just think, oh my goodness.
Right, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Chatzzz. And we've got a very, very special guest today. Sara, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, having you back.
Yeah.
Second time.
Wow. I feel honoured.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Such an honour, yeah.
It is an honour.
I think this is, I can't remember what episode number it was last time, but I'm nearly episode 100. Yeah,
really?
Yeah. So I think this might be like episode number 94, something like that. So,
wow.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people on, to be fair, and I'm excited to catch up. So I think we did the 3 facts last time, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. So
we did.
I think let's just talk about what we've been up to in the last years, and if any points you've got any notes.
Well, I was actually thinking when we first turned up, it was what was it Christmas or was it before then? But it was last summer, and it was very hot, and we were sort of leading.
Exceptionally late as well, didn't it?
But it gave me a chance to have a glass of water and sort of calm myself down. But a lot has happened actually since last summer, because summer we did our online auction, which was fantastic, raised £3,303, all the threes. Yeah. So don't know what that means in angel terms.
Yeah, but is that good luck or bad luck? Or?
I don't know. I'm thinking that one. I'll have to write that down. So so we'll probably do another one this year, which is great. It's a great way of going online, buying a present, and it's for charity as well. So you're actually giving both, if that makes sense. So you're giving somebody a present, win-win. So we'll probably do something like that. We're also doing our sports challenge, and then we'll be leading into Mission Christmas.
It feels crazy thinking about that.
Yeah. But I know we were talking earlier about Mission Christmas is a time where people reflect on their year and probably think how lucky they've been. So that's when they sort of come forward and either raise money for me or they donate presents and things like that. And we always have a bit of a nightmare with regards to teenage boys. So anything from sort of 13 to 18-year-olds, get a lot of boys that don't have things like toiletries and shampoo, shower gel, all the toiletries that a boy needs. But also it might be a hairdressing voucher, because very often, like you sat there with your hair all lovely, there's going to be boys out there that would love to look like you, but they can't because they can't afford to have their hair done. Because how often do you have your hair cut?
Every week.
Exactly. So, so you're having your hair done every week, and a lot of lads are probably getting it done every 2 or 3 weeks, perhaps. And that's out of the question for a lot of these teenage boys. So very often, whenever I see a teenage boy with long hair, I just wonder is that they really want or whatever. So I get very excited about Mission Christmas because it's a time of year where we're helping an awful lot of children. And last year we helped 4,814 children.
But yeah, that's amazing.
This year it's looking around about 5,000.
Yeah.
So 5,000 children we're going to help from 0 through to 18. But as I say, we always do an SOS on teenage boys, sadly.
Why teenage boys in particular then, would you say?
I think it's because when you're thinking of a Christmas present, you're perhaps not thinking about a teenage boy. You're perhaps thinking about a little girl, dollies, prams, a little boy with trains and cars and buses. And so we get an awful lot of presents like that, puzzles and ride-ons and all these different things, which is fantastic. But then at the other end, we haven't got the footballs, we haven't got the stationery, we haven't got the backpacks, we haven't got the toiletries. So very often we have to do a bit of an SOS on that.
Yeah.
So people either raise money for us and give us the money, or they go out and go and purchase these things. There are some businesses actually who will just concentrate on teenage teenagers and just buy just for teenagers.
That's good then, yeah.
Which is fantastic. And a lot of the people I meet around Christmas time is really a very special time, because I end up meeting people that I perhaps haven't met before. And very often they come, then they're on the journey with me, because by getting involved with something at Christmas, sort of promotes the charity, promotes what I'm doing. And then they sort of say, well, what else can I do? You know, what else do you do in the year? So then we lead on to what we've just been doing now, which at this very moment was Cash for Kids Day. And what that is, it's a hunger poverty. We're looking at like 1 in 4 children, you know, really going without food or just having one meal a day. And I was just writing down now, you know, at the end of the day, through school hunger, we're looking at 90 days of school hunger, because they're not at school, so they're having to sort of have whatever. So in those 90 days. And I think it's something like, what was it? It was it's 1 in 10 15-year-olds, 15-year-olds are going without a meal.
Really? That many?
Yeah. Which is quite scary, isn't it? Especially when that's their development time. Yeah, they're growing up. Yeah. They need their food. So we've just been on with a hunger pot now. So there are still people. We had a Cash for Kids Day last week, but this will just carry on for a little while longer, because people have still got events to do and things. You know, there's quizzes going on and bake days going on and all sorts. And one of my customers rang me this morning and said, look, we've raised some money for you, you know, come and collect it. So it's fantastic. And it means then that a hunger pot will be used specifically for beneficiaries who will need some type of food through school holidays.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose you just wouldn't think of like, oh yeah, school dinners, that kind of thing. And then, like you say, the 90 days in the Easter holidays, February half term.
I know. I have to write it down, because you just can't. You have to have it. I think what it is, when you say it, it doesn't sort of register. But then when you write it down, you think 90 days that children will suffer holiday hunger.
Yeah. I just can't imagine that long without food.
Because I was saying to you earlier, how would you feel if you felt, you know, have you ever felt hungry?
No, not like that. Yeah, no. I know. That's what I mean. We were saying earlier, weren't we, that about like the toiletries and the food and stuff. When I was growing up, it was just like, it was an expectation. It wasn't like I was grateful for the essentials, isn't it? But
yeah, and I don't think you're grateful when you're younger, because it's sort of kind of it is what you've been sort of born into. And when you go to have your shower, you reach out for your shower gel, you reach out for your soap, and don't even think about it. And then you get out your shower, you grab your towel. Very often, these teenagers don't even have a towel.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, this is why I think it's really important when my elves come together at Christmas. I don't allow any bag. It sounds like I'm being really sort of strict, but I just think every single sort of toiletry bag or makeup bag or backpack are always filled with the essentials, because there's nothing worse than having a bag that's empty. I think when we get the backpacks in and the shower, the toiletry bags and wash bags and whatever, I always say to the new elves every day, because there's different elves each day, and I'll say to the elves, remember, do not put anything in with an empty bag, because we make sure that they're full with deodorant, shower gel, shampoo, you know, aftershave, you know, toothpaste and stuff like that. It's really important. It's really important for somebody to be cared for and loved, and because if you didn't have any of all that and somebody gave you that, suddenly you feel valued, you feel loved, you think, God, someone's thought about me. Somebody's thought about me. And that's really important.
The only thing I can kind of relate to that these days would be like, this is a terrible example, but see like a packet of crisps these days, they're massive, aren't they?
Yes.
And then they're literally like that full. So that's like the feeling that I can imagine, like if they were to get them toiletries and stuff, and they've only got a few, they'd think, oh, is this all I get kind of thing?
Yeah.
Whereas if it's like full to the brim, you
full,
think, this is amazing.
It's amazing. Because they'll get their backpack with all full with bits. But obviously there's more to that, because we put some chocolate in and we put a T-shirt in or a towel in or whatever. And all of a sudden they got this bag that's absolutely crammed with things. And my elves are so gorgeous, you know, and they just know, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing I technically did for Cash for Kids, because one of my old clients, they donated footballs. Not last
That's
year, the year
right.
before.
Yes, that's
and then
right. Yes.
This year I donated some footballs.
You did. You did.
Because it was just like little things like that, I think, can make a difference.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And your footballs do make a difference because, you know, we had a little boy, he was about 9, and he'd never had a football ever. It ended up that he'd actually asked for a football for Christmas. The football went in and went to this boy, and one of the pastorals from the school rang me and said, we've got a little boy that wants to speak to you. And I said, all right, okay. So he came on and he said, look, at Christmas I got a football from Cash for Kids. Where do I hand it back? I'd like to give it back. And I said, no. I said, that's your football. That is your football. And he just couldn't believe, because he'd only ever borrowed footballs or used a football and then had to give it back. So those footballs that you brought in, that big sack, it was a massive, wasn't it? I've still got the photograph of that. You know, you helped so many little ones with that. Absolutely. Because the thing is about a football, it can be for a little one, a little toddler, right up to age 18. So whenever anybody supplies us with footballs and rugby balls, we have like grins the size of Cheshire cats, because they really, really help. Because there's nothing better going out and having a kickabout, is there?
That's what I mean, yeah.
And you can kick about on your own, or you can kick about with a few friends.
Make friends.
Yeah.
Which is good, yeah.
So thank you, Adam, for that. It was just fantastic.
Yeah. I think it's just, I feel like everybody, the older I get, because when I was younger, I didn't really think about it. I think that's just the way I was. But like the older you get, everyone can make a little difference, can't they? If it is donating something, or doing like a challenge, or even donating to your friends, donating a bit of money and stuff. It doesn't matter like how big or small, everything makes a difference, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. There's the old story, isn't there, about the starfish on a beach. And there was this lady going across the beach, and she was throwing the starfishes back into the sea. And somebody went up to her and said, what on earth are you doing? You're wasting your time. And she said, no, I'm not. I'm actually saving as many starfish as I can. And, you know, and she was helping the when she could. And that's like what you've done. You helped the children that you could do. And leading on from that, you've just done this amazing marathon in Ibiza for Cash for Kids. Raising art, you can say how much you raised, because it's amazing.
I've got an amazing medal now.
Yeah, you have. You've got a
I'll have to get a photo of this. But so anyone that doesn't know, even though I posted quite a bit about it, is that this year what I wanted to do was 3 half marathons and do them for charity. And the first charity I picked was the Cash for Kids one, because like we were saying before off the podcast, you just feel the love, you know what I mean, from you, like commenting and saying thank you and asking how you are and that kind of thing. So I was like, the first half marathon that I'll do it for Cash for Kids. So I was like,
thank you.
Yeah. So I set the initial target for £500, because I was thinking, I don't know, I just thought, that's still like a decent effort. And then, managed to raise £1,153, which is good.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's fantastic. The amount of children that you're going to help with that, Adam, is just unbelievable. And you should be really, really proud of yourself. And not only that, you've got some fantastic supporters behind the scenes. So thank you to them as well, because they've dug deep for you.
Yeah.
But they knew what you were doing. And I think you explained yourself really well from our last podcast that we did, and you got to know a bit more about Cash for Kids. I think you sort of went on with that, with the story, didn't you? I think people feel very lucky of what they've got in life. And, you know, so you've had some fantastic supporters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was nice for me personally to see other people and my clients and stuff supporting what I was doing for the charity, because you don't have to do it, you know what I mean? You don't have to donate if you don't want to, you know what I mean? But a lot of people did. I think it's in total. Yeah. Like whatever they donated and stuff. And it was nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, whether it was small amounts, big amounts, whatever amount it is absolutely, it's all relative as well. Everything's relative, isn't it? And whatever people can afford to donate, that's absolutely fine. Because I had a lady the other day. She said, I want to give you something for your hunger pot. Don't let me leave until I give you something for her. And I said, okay, no problem. And she said, it's not a lot. And I said, actually, that is irrelevant, because is whatever you feel that you can afford. And I don't want to take anything off you that you can't afford. And I think that's, if everybody did just a little bit, we'd all be happy, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
We'd have very happy children.
Yeah. And it's all relative, isn't it? Like a lot to someone is not a lot to somebody else and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Really
so,
make a difference.
some people can put a £10 in and think, do you know what, that's what I can afford. And another person might say, well, I can put 25 in or 30 or whatever it is. And you just think, wow, every amount is really appreciated by me, and you will get thanked no matter what you give and whatever you do. And, it's about a relationship, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, I'm looking after and I was saying our, as in yours and ours, our children that live in our own community, that they need a leg up for whatever reason. And, some of those children that we help, I think a lot of it will stay with them. And later on in life, I remember I've got a chap who comes to see me every Christmas with a van load of lovely things. And he carried on doing it year after year after year. And in the end, I actually said to him, I said, why do you actually do this? I said, because this is amazing. And he said, I watched my mum work 2 and 3 jobs. I watched my mum suffer. I knew I went without. So I don't want any children to go without. And I'm in a position now, I've got a great business and I want to give something back. And you think, wow,
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing. Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised of how large some of the donations were as well. And you just think it's crazy. People donate £1,500 and stuff. And it's just
amazing.
Everyone does it for their own reasons, don't they? Like say that guy for his own reason.
Well, he perhaps did it for his mum. He probably thought, do you know what? My mum went without. I remember a few years ago we had a little boy who, I say a little boy, he was not a little boy, he was about 15, 16, and he was one of the beneficiaries, and we were trying to find out what he needed at the time. Anyway, he turned around and he got a message back to me to say, don't worry about me, can you get me something for my mum?
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bit... That's crazy.
And you think, oh my goodness, you sort of, and we say,
emotional.
It's really emotional, and I cry.
To be 15, 16, to think of your mum like that.
Yeah, and I cry. I probably cry once a week at least, because some of the stories I hear, I just think, oh my goodness. But obviously he got his presents and whatever, and I think that the teacher ended up getting something for his mum, which was great because we're a charity for 0 to 18, so we can't really sort of bring in mums and dads and things like that, as much as I would love to. But it ended up that this mummy did get a present in the end through the school, which was fantastic. But I've got such amazing supporters, and some of the supporters are once a year, some are all year round, some people collect money all year round. Everyone's different, and anything that you bring to the party, whether it's a one-off event or it's you think later on. I've got this chap that I used to work with, a lovely lad, really lovely lad, and he came to be my elf one year.
Yeah.
And he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. It was too upsetting for him. He said, I really can't be an elf anymore, because he said, I can't stand it. So he's just upset me too much. So every year now, what he does, he creeps into Arco and drops me a bag of toiletries from teenage boys.
Oh, that's nice.
So he's really lovely. And he's just going on holiday at the moment. I saw him on Facebook and I put a little message on for him. Because I don't forget you. Once you're in my charity gang, that's it. It doesn't matter whether people give once, twice, or all year round. It's really important to say thank you.
Yeah, and that definitely doesn't go unnoticed. Like for me personally, I see it liking and commenting and stuff, and that makes me feel loved and appreciated. And
absolutely.
That kind of thing,
well, you're part of my charity gang now. No, it wouldn't have mattered whether you'd given me something once, twice, or 3 times, or 100 times. At the end of the day, I look upon you as you're part of my world, and I want to be. I want to feel happy for you, and I want to see that you're a success, and I want to see, but also. likewise, if there was things that was going wrong with you, I would still want to still be there for you because, you know, we all have highs and lows in life, don't we?
Always, yeah.
But you've had a few successes recently. What with you had just had your award, haven't you?
Yeah, I know. So. So have you. I've got mine first as well. But yeah, so
Is that your best award?
So yeah,
chocolate.
So unfortunately, when I was doing that, not unfortunately, it's just the way things. There isn't enough time in the days. So I'd originally committed to doing that Ibiza half marathon for Cash for Kids. So I was like, right, okay, booked all the accommodation and stuff, and then awards were announced and I was nominated, but that was after I'd already booked things. So I was trying to look at different flights and whatever. And then I'd been nominated for 2 awards. So it was the Young Male award thing, and then the Social Media award. So I had to make the decision of what do I do? So I was like, oh, well, I go to Ibiza. And people are thinking, oh, we've gone to Ibiza, but it's to raise money for charity. So it was, if it wasn't for that, I would have stayed and just rearranged it. Yeah. And then, so it was.
And it was funny because they were going, Adam, you can't be in 2 places at once. I know. You're definitely going to be here. And I was sort of behind the Facebook thinking, oh no, he's running because of me. Yeah, so I felt really guilty.
So like literally the day before, I was like to my dad, logistically it won't work. Because that day was so busy because somebody wanted me to do a shoot on the Friday as well. And I was thinking this 19th of April is a nightmare. So I remember I went over and then was out for food. And then my mum texted me, even though she wasn't there. She was saying, congratulations. And I was like, what? And she said, oh, you won an award. And then my dad was there with his friend, Mike. And then, I'd won the Social Media Award, which is quite cool.
Amazing, yeah.
But my dad was saying he's glad I didn't win the 18 to 29-year-old award, because imagine him going up to collect that. It would have been like, it's a bit weird. But yeah, it's nice for me because like when I moved back home during COVID in the June, so it's coming up to like 4 years now, I had a business partner at the time. I had to start again. Yeah. From 0 clients and like 0 money and living with mum and dad. And then being able to like build that up from like 0 to where it is now. It's taken a lot of hard work. And a lot of people say like now or recently would probably think, oh, he's doing quite well or whatever and stuff, which I'm always improving, which is nice. That it's growing. But it's just like, say like the early years that nobody saw and like getting up at 5 a.m. and like working and not making any money or making any progress and stuff. Yeah. They're like, I appreciate because I was there, but obviously a lot of people that see it now will be like, oh, it's all right.
He's a great businessman or whatever. Yeah. But they don't see all the hard work and the tears and the exhaustion that goes on behind the scenes. And this is why, you know, obviously I think I met you for the first time last year. Yeah. And from then until kind of now, I can see how much you've grown, even just from the stories you tell. And I think having your dad there was probably quite lovely for him to see that you've actually made a success of yourself.
Yeah, it was. I'm getting a bit emotional talking about it now.
It's really nice.
I've never actually cried on this podcast. I'm crying now. But yeah, it's nice like for me to see him get that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it was like... Yeah,
it's really important.
I've never literally cried in this podcast, and I'm crying right now. That's so but like, say, for him to get it, it's like, it's paid off.
Yeah, it's great.
Even though it's only an award and it doesn't really mean anything, it's just like...
Well, it means a lot. First of all, somebody's nominated you for these 2 awards, and to be nominated is amazing. And then for you to then not be able to be there because you were raising money for charity is just amazing. And then for your dad to know what was going on behind the scenes and how much you probably had to put into that, for him to go and collect it on your behalf was probably quite, I think it was meant to be.
Yeah, and like all I want is just seeing mum and dad proud. You know?
Yeah. And they will be proud of you. And he was proud of you because I actually spoke to him. Because I said, I grabbed him. I said, I'm Sara. And he went, all right. And I said, I'm really sorry, but I said, it's me that he's running for Cash for Kids. And he went, oh, yes, he is. And
didn't have a clue what was going on.
And he had the truth, you know, the award in his hand. And I said, oh, that's fantastic. And he said, he was thrilled. He was thrilled for you. So in some ways, maybe it was meant to be for your dad to show that you've come from quite a difficult situation to now getting this award and being recognised by a city that you're from and you're involved with. And I think it's amazing. Things are meant to be.
Yeah, definitely. And like, say for me, on a personal level, like this year's been really, really good for me.
Yeah.
Like personally and business wise, which is like nice and stuff. So
yeah, because I see you've got a house.
Yeah, so
Have you got a shampoo and shower gel in there?
yeah, luckily. I need to be more grateful for it. But yeah, that's what I mean. So like for me this year it's been really good. Like the business is growing really fast and really well. The team's great. Like won the award, got my first home, got a new car and everything like that.
That's great.
So yeah, it's
well,
nice.
you're a great ambassador for Carlisle. You're a great ambassador for lads of your age, because people can inspire to you, can't they?
Yeah, and that's all I want to do. Because say you met me last year, and I feel like only really probably, I don't know, end of last year, I'd probably say I'm more like comfortable in myself.
Yeah.
Of like where I am and who I am as a person.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's important to like give back and showcase it as well, because some people may think like, oh, you're doing all this stuff, but then you're posting it. But like, isn't that the point to
absolutely to raise awareness?
Yeah.
Because you've already raised awareness of what happens with Cash for Kids and what people go without as children. And whatever else you do, you should be showcasing it. And also you should feel really proud of yourself. I used to think a bit like that with me, if ever I was like doing interviews or whatever, I thought, oh, maybe, people think, oh, it's an egotistical thing. Yeah. But actually, it's not. You're banging on the drum for others and you're banging on the drum to make sure that people have a better life and a better quality of life. And if it means that it's my voice that I use to bang on that drum, then so be it, and so be it for yourselves. Yeah. You're an amazing inspiration, and when I look, I feel really proud of you, and I've only known you since last year, and I'm really proud of what I can see that you've achieved. And through your achievements, you're not being selfish. You're saying, well, do you know what? I can do this, and I can help them, and I can do that. So you're not just you don't just become like a greedy person because you've become this successful businessman. And I think you will just grow and grow and grow because you've just got that nice, you've got a lovely niceness about you.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your award as well.
Well, to be honest, Adam, I got invited to the awards and
you'd have to pay for tickets even the tickets. So that's where they got you, isn't it? So next year, if I get invited for free, I know I'm winning an award.
Well, I sat there; it was absolutely lovely. It was a fantastic award, and met sort of lots of people I hadn't seen for ages, and it was a chance to dress up and get all your finery on and stuff. And it was lovely. And then obviously the nominations went through. Obviously yours went through, and then another one went through, which was yours. And it was a lovely atmosphere and stuff. And then all of a sudden they said that there was this special award recognition of in Carlisle City. I never really, I was interested, but I wasn't never dreamt that they were going to say my name. Yeah. So they started talking about my job first and what I was thinking and explaining what I did and what I did, and a massive honour, massive, because I do this job because it's not a job to me, it's a vocation. I'm very passionate about what I do. I go to bed dreaming about these kids and I wake up dreaming about them because I just feel so, if I can help any of them, I will. And it just really upsets me. So if whatever I can do to help these kids, I will. So to be suddenly recognised for doing something that you absolutely love doing and you're passionate about is very special, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just do what you do because you love it.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like you want the recognition or you need it. It's so nice to be recognised by those people and the appreciation.
Yeah, and I think as well, people then get to know you. They know who you are. They know what you do. They know what you stand for. And since those awards, I've already had quite a few people come to see me or speak to me and say, look, what can we do? We didn't realise how much you did for the city, because I look after the whole of Cumbria and the edge of sort of like southwest Scotland, etc. But the whole of Cumbria is my baby. but Carlisle City is benefiting big time because that's where I based.
Yeah.
So it's just fantastic that I can help all sorts of children who need a bit of love or a bit of something to make a difference in their life. And if that means having a shower or having clothes or having a uniform or being able to go on a trip or being able to have, you know, to be able to go in a buggy, which they're housebound because they can't get out, or it's all these things that you sort of supply through Cash for Kids, through verification. It's all done on, you know, it's not just handed out willy-nilly. It has to be done properly and above board. But, you know, how proud am I when I drive past somewhere like Outerside playground. There's a playground at Outerside, and I can't drive past without going down there and looking at it, thinking they've got that because of Cash for Kids. And it's just stuff like that. And you think, wow, you know, those kids can go out and play. You know, there's an awful lot of disadvantaged children in Outerside Primary School. And you sort of, when I spoke to the headmistress, she said, you know, they've got this play park now next door so they can go and play. And you think, wow. And you're part of you're leaving legacies behind all the time. It's amazing. And you're going to do that with the amount of money that you've raised. You know, you're going to be making big differences in lots of children's lives.
Yeah,
so I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for that, for every mile that you probably thought, why am I doing this?
The thing is, the first 10 kilometres, so it's like 21 kilometres, so the first 10 kilometres was quite easy.
And you thought, oh, this is all right.
Yeah, but it's a lot hotter over there because it did 6 p.m. at night, so it's meant to be a bit cooler. But it's a lot hotter than I was used to, so that was okay. And then there's like this massive incline like that, and then I was going up it, and then literally I'd never wanted to stop running in my whole entire life. I was like, and then the next 8 kilometres was like tough, yeah. And then the final 3K was all right, but the finish line, it was like such a long straight. Then you had to go then right, then left, then right, and then right, and then right again, and then all the way back down. So you're going around. It was like never ending. So like I set myself a time target because say people doing a half marathon, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough.
Yeah.
But for me, I knew I could do it, but I wanted to get like a good time. If that makes sense.
You wanted your PB.
Yeah. So I never actually ran a half marathon before. I'd done 20k, so like 21k's a half marathon, just so I knew the distance. So I set myself 1 hour 45 to do it, but I ideally wanted to get like 1:37. So I managed to get it in 1 hour 45 and 2 seconds.
Wow, that's great.
So I'd have liked to do it a bit quicker, but it's my first one, so I can't really complain.
But you realise what you've created? You created miles of smiles. Haven't you?
Yeah, 13 miles of smiles.
But 8 very big smiles because you had 8 miles where you really had to dig deep.
Yeah.
And I think those 8 miles that were the most difficult were probably how sometimes these children feel. So you went through a very difficult 8 miles for the particular children who go through very, 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 very difficult times.
Yeah.
And haven't got a voice, so can't say anything. So that's how you can equate that to and think, do you know what? Those 8 miles are worth it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like short-term pain, isn't it? And then you know you're going to get through it and stuff, and then you got the reward in the end. And then, after I did it, and then more donations kept on coming through, and that was really nice and stuff. So, it's just being able to make a little difference whichever way I can and stuff. So, I think that was a good thing. My next main thing that I want to do is, I don't know if I told you, I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, in America.
Oh, right. I didn't know you were born there.
So they've got a Boston Marathon. So I've just done a half marathon.
I think I've seen that on the television. Yeah.
So I want to try and do that. Maybe like next year. I think you have to apply for it. So I think you have to apply like September time, and it's in like March. So I want to do that like next year, which would be like cool to do for Cash for Kids as well. That's the first one, because it'd be like full circle moment, because you can see like where I was born, the hospital, where we used to live, my dad used to work and stuff.
Fantastic.
So. But that's like next year.
So do you think your family will come over with you, or
potentially? Yeah, like literally, my dad retired like was it last Tuesday or something? So,
wow. Oh, right. So
yeah. So he's got literally nothing to do anymore. I don't know what
you
Mum
can come and
thinks.
carry your bags
Yeah.
and your water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like an exciting thing for him at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
At home with my mum. I don't know if that's good or a bad thing. She'll probably be sick of it.
He's probably got a list, does he, of things to do.
Plenty of things to do.
And
so
does he play sport or anything?
not really. Like he goes to the football and stuff with his brother. Right. He used to play when he was younger. He likes walking and stuff.
Yeah. Well, he's right on the edge of the Lake District, isn't he?
Yeah. So
he can get himself into the mountains if this weather stays. Although I have heard this morning that don't it's going to change again. So.
You haven't even had any nice weather yet, though, have you? It's meant to be in like a good couple of months. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's obsessed with his 10,000 steps a day. He loves to get 10,000 steps a day. Yeah. Whereas I'm more focused on the running and stuff like that. So
it's good. It's good.
What else have you got planned then?
Well, I'm gonna sort of carry on with obviously my hunger pot for a little bit longer, and then I've got my sports challenge later on. A sports challenge is where local sports clubs or schools can enter. It's a completely win-win. What happens is the business or the school raises money over a length of time, like a couple of weeks. And it's basically a platform, an opportunity to raise as much money as you can. To give you an example, we've got a cheerleaders group out in West Cumbria, and they did it last year and they did it a few years ago and decided to come back on. Spoke to her recently and said, absolutely, we'll be doing it again. As a boxing club in Wigton have the same, because basically it's a platform to raise money as much as you can. And then what happens is you pay that into Cash for Kids. And then what happens, it's like it's a grant that comes back to you. So you've raised that money, but then there's a first, second and third prize. And there's also prizes for the best social media.
Oh, nice.
And a prize for the best idea or the best ideas or whatever. So they don't go away with just the money that they've raised. They have money added on top of that.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's just fantastic. We can have quite a few groups, but I think I think the last time we did Sports Challenge, I think we had around about 8 or 9 groups, which is great because
really good.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. So we'll do that. I'll also be doing my online auction. So if there's anybody out there that would like to donate a prize or something that money can't buy, you might have something in your wardrobe or, there might be something at home that you think, well, I don't really want that anymore, but we could use it on our online auction. Last year, we raised £3,303. And this is our third year. And the first year we did 1,000. The second year we did 2. So it's kind of growing. So I'm now under pressure now to make sure it goes on to 4. But hey, that's another story.
Good pressure, yeah. Because we were talking as well before we started, like, what is the best way for you or anybody else to raise awareness about Cash for Kids? Like you say, there's lots of different channels and ways to do it, isn't it? But if somebody's listening, how can they?
I think first of all, have a chat to me because everybody brings something else to the table. Like you as a person, you brought footballs to the table. You brought money to the table through your marathon. You're going to bring more money to the table when you want to do your Boston Marathon and stuff like that. So there's things like that. And it might be that, you might be good at baking or you might be good at, but there's lots of things that I think each person, like I'll say to them, well, what do you like to do? I think that's because I don't want to make anything hard for somebody. Because like me saying to you, right, I want you this afternoon, I want you to bake a load of cakes. And you'd be thinking, I don't think so. Whereas, I might say to somebody else, I'd like you to run a couple of marathons for me. Is that all right? And they go, are you joking? So I think everybody brings their own, like I've got a lady that, she bakes cakes and she does stalls for me all year round. I have people who obviously run. I have people who will say, right, I'm going to collect for you in pots. You know, they'll collect for me all year round. There might be some people who will say, right, we'll always donate you stuff through the Mission Christmas. So I think it's important to find out what you're good at, or you can get your team behind. Because sometimes it might not be about you, it might be your team. Because you might think, well, do my team want to get involved with anything? And you could go back to your team and say, well, what would you like? You know, is there anything you'd like to bring to the table? I went to see a business out at Cockermouth the other week, and they all decided that the way they were going to raise money for me was wild swimming. They were going to do some what? And I said, that's great, because that's something that they all enjoy doing. So, you know, I think it's really important, whatever you do for charity, is to make sure that you love doing what you're doing, first of all. Because then, you raise money, it's genuine, and people will get behind you because they know it's part of your world.
Yeah, I think that'll be my advice to someone as well, isn't it? It's make it as easy as possible to fit into like your life or lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously you want to do hard stuff. Like say I did the half marathon, which was still hard, but like that's something I was enjoying running in. So it's like fitting that in, and it's just whatever.
Well, and you enjoyed that. Okay, you didn't enjoy that 8 miles, but you did enjoy it overall, and you've come away with a lovely amount of money raised for a local charity and for local children. But also you haven't had to sort of be in a situation where you've hated every single minute of it. And then you think, well, I don't want to raise any more money for Cash for Kids because I didn't enjoy doing that. So this is why I think it's important to be truthful to yourself and say, right, I'll be able to do that, or I can do this, and not overpromise and cherry pick.
Yeah.
You know, like I might say to you, right, this is what we're going to do from January through to December, but there might be only 2 things that you think, oh yeah, I could do that, but I don't think I could do that. I couldn't, you know. Or it might be the other awareness way is talk to your friends and family, talk to your team, you know, find out if there's anything that they can do, you know, whether it's walking, running, baking, or it might be that they, like, we have some people who just said, look, do you know what we want to do? We actually just want to make you a donation. That's what we want to do. And some people say, oh, well, we'll walk around a pub and raise money like that. Or some people will dress up and have dress up days or dress down days or odd sock days and silly days and, you know, let's wear pink day. But anything you do, it needs to be something that you're enjoying.
What do you say some popular choices are then for people? What do they normally do? Bake sales and runs, are they 2 typical ones? Or?
Runs are quite a big one because we do the Great North Run as well. We have places. I have 15 charity places each year. So I've got 14 running for me this year in September, September the 8th. So that's great. I sometimes think that they'll do things like, you know, pound on the pillow or pound on the bill, which is quite popular, but they'll do it their own way, how they want to do it, and they'll do it in their collecting pots and whatever. Some people literally don't want to do anything apart from having a collecting pot in their premises. We have one business who has a collecting pot, and for all the cheeky ones that go in and say, can I just have that? Can I just have this? Can I just have that? They go, yeah, if you put some money in our charity pot. So yeah, it's such a varied.
That's good though,
Varied amount of things that come, Like there was a chap recently, he has a business and he wanted to do, he did like a pound on the bill, but he left it to their own devices. So if somebody wanted to give him £4 or £5 or £20, and he had one person who gave quite a bit of money just to me. So, you know, make it a little bit more open.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's really, really varied actually what people do.
And the other thing that, bit of a tangent, but I want to speak about is that you've been going to schools lately as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
That I was interested in. We spoke loads off the podcast. I said, we need to start the podcast, otherwise we'll be talking about everything. Because I think, did I bring it up saying that tomorrow I'm going to a school to help out their little marketing competition thing, and you said, oh, you've been into schools lately.
Yeah. And I've been doing school assemblies.
Yeah, the school assemblies, and just the
they're amazing.
What the kids have been saying to you, I think is
because you go into these assemblies and you sort of, you know, and there's 300 children looking back at you and you think, wow, and they're kind of looking at you thinking, what on earth are you going to do? And I think I try to do visual things with them, and I always do. A few years ago, I probably wouldn't have said, are there any questions? Because I hope they don't ask me something really random. But anyway, so this last week, I have been asking, questions, and it's surprising what they ask, And this one little boy said to me on Friday, he would have only been about 10. And he said, what do you love about your job? I thought, wow.
10 years old.
I said, I couldn't believe that he'd said that. So I said, what an amazing question that is. So I said, I love doing what I do because it's helping the children, and it means that I can help children in this school and stuff like that. And and anyway, there was one little boy was sort of kind of trailing wherever I was. He was kind of there, and he wanted to obviously ask me a question. So I was a bit sort of concerned about what the question you were going to ask me. But anyway, he just wanted to say, he said, well, actually, he said, I want to say thank you, because he said, if it wasn't for Cash for Kids, we wouldn't have eaten, and you helped my mum out. And he said, and we wouldn't have had toilet trays, and we definitely wouldn't have had any presents at Christmas. And this boy was 10, 11. And you just think, and I just became all emotional with him, because I thought, he was brave enough to come up to, like, a lot of children might have sort of like thought, yeah, we've been helped by Cash for Kids, and not said a bit embarrassed or a bit, not knowing what to do. But he was brave enough to come up to me, and he had his mate with him, and his mate was saying, thank you for helping my friends. And he said he'll remember Cash for Kids forever. Mm-hmm. And then as I was going out of the door, we had the doors open because we were going out to playtime. And I had the door open, and I was saying, bye, bye, as we were all going by. And there were such great kids. And this one little boy just looked at me and he said, I love you, and you just think, wow, it's, and they did a book for me. I should have brought my book.
Oh,
I should have brought my book. I forgot.
You brought my prop.
I didn't bring my prop. Oh my God. Next time I see you, just say,
remember the book.
The school's done a fantastic book for me with thank yous from Cash for Kids. And it's all about Dear Sara. It's absolutely lovely. I've cried. So I have done a bit of crying this last this last month. I think it's been quite an emotional time. But yeah, it's because I'm kind of on the rock face. I see a lot. But there's also there's elements of my job I don't see because it's confidential or whatever. But then when you see things at first hand, you just think, wow.
Powerful, isn't it?
Powerful,
Impactful,
powerful. But you must see my book.
Yeah.
I think you'll like my book, Adam.
Will I be jealous of it?
Yeah, I think so.
I definitely will be. So how can people get in contact? Is it just with you personally? Is it?
Yeah,
I'm on
Facebook. If anybody wants to message me, I'm not. I use the same number for everything. So I'm on
that's not good.
That's not good, surely. But I tell you what,
how can you
people are very well. I think what it is. I think you're always going to get the odd one, don't you? That you get very late night calls or early morning or whatever. But I have to say, hand on heart, people are pretty good with me.
That's good then,
which is
really
great.
Good.
Because I did used to have two mobiles, and in the end, I couldn't cope with the two.
Yeah.
So I decided I would just have one. So whenever I speak to somebody, I always program them in. But yeah, contact me on my Facebook. I'm very much out and about a lot. So my mobile number is probably a good one. But message me first. Yeah. If you can message me on
LinkedIn,
whatever. Or tell Adam. Yeah. Ring Adam and say, tell Sara to ring me.
You can ring my work number.
Ring your work number. Not. Yeah. So, but I'm always here, there and everywhere. And there's always somebody that knows me. So yeah, just get in touch with me. Yeah. And I would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Well, whatever idea you have, run it past me. And Yeah.
Because I think I just messaged you, didn't I? Just like randomly one night saying, "Oh, I want to do a half marathon in Ibiza, kind of raise money for Cash for Kids."
You
and then
did.
you sent me the form, whatever, and just filled it out and just did it like that. So
yeah.
So I mean, I think anybody who's either thinking about it or on the fence, it's just it's like message. You message me or whatever, and it's just like you'll be able to make it work, won't you? 99% of the time.
And sometimes it might be a question that they've always wanted to ask. Just ask me. You know, it's not a problem. And if they do want to raise some money for me, that's fantastic. If I can piggyback anything that you feel that, you know, that you're like running an event, but you want to do something for Cash for Kids, and it might be that you just want some extras here and there, you know, give me a ring, because there's something we can always work something out.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to add?
Do you like your medal?
I love it. I love this even more.
Yes. Right, we're gonna this is the. Can you see this?
On the camera. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So Adam raised £1,153 for Cash for Kids through 8 miles at least of anguish. But how amazing is that?
Yeah.
So Adam has a medal, and it is a chocolate one. Yeah. So whether he'll eat it or not is another matter. Yeah. So I have a large check that I take round, because I think it's really good, and we're going to take a picture of you, aren't we?
We'll have to get somebody to come in. But I think that's what's important, isn't it? For me, I think you don't have to do anything. Like, I didn't have to do this, you know what I mean? I chose to do it because I wanted to try and make a difference. And if I can showcase that and raise awareness around it, then that's only going to have a positive impact. Like I was saying to you before, Ricardo, who was when this is posted 2 podcasts ago, he said he saw me posting about it and donated because he saw me posted about it. Donate to somebody else's thing, not even just mine, from seeing about it and stuff. So it's just like little things like that, isn't it? If you see something, share it or donate or like it or comment saying well done.
Well, you've inspired Ricardo, is it? You've inspired him to dig deep and give something to another charity, possibly given to you as well, and made him think, and maybe he's looked at you and thought, well, if Adam can do it, I can do it. But make it easy for yourself. Make it easier. Choose something. You know, it might be something at work, or it might be something that your family do, or it might be something that you have an extra curriculum with, like golfing, or it might be a golfing day, or
those my mates would love doing that, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be people, if you're friends or people that know me, they might think, never thought about doing that. So
everybody that's listening that did donate, thank you very much. I appreciate it a lot. I've already messaged you individually, I think, anyway. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment your favourite part. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. And we'll see you next time. Bye.